on life science to analyze the interdependence of living things with each other and their environment. This includes food webs, ecosystems, and evolution. Ecosystems. What is an ecosystem? An ecosystem is made up of all living things and non-living things that function together in one place. This includes all the plants and animals. An ecosystem also includes non-living materials, for example, water, rocks, soil, and sand. This shows how all the living and non-living things can function together in one ecosystem. There's different types of ecosystems. There's two main groups. One is terrestrial ecosystem. This includes forests, deserts, and grasslands. There's aquatic ecosystem, which is freshwater and saltwater. Freshwater includes ponds, lakes, and rivers, and saltwater includes ocean and seas. In the picture below, can you come up with what groups it belongs to? Relationship in an ecosystem. In an ecosystem, there is a relationship between the living and non-living things in the area, with a balance. Plants and animals are connected to each other because animals need food. In an ecosystem, each living thing needs food. Plants produce their own food, which are producers. Herbivores eat plants, and carnivores eat herbivores. So in an ecosystem, there's a relationship between any living and non-living thing because they have to live together. They provide for one another. If something is taken out of the ecosystem, it can tremendously affect that ecosystem because they are interdependent on one another and they rely on each other for the food or for what they provide. So this represents a food chain. We can do this by representing things that feed off of each other. So the grass gets its food from the sun, and then it provides food for the herbivore, which is a deer, and then the deer provides food for the carnivore, which is the lion. What are food webs? Food webs are different than food chains. Food webs are a system that shows many food chains in an ecosystem. Like a food chain, a food web shows where each organism gets food, and it shows that they are all connected to one another. All organisms are either producers, consumers, or decomposers. So this food web shows how they're all interconnected with one another in their food web, in their ecosystem. Different categories for an organism. So there's producers, which are plants. Plants produce their own food, and they get it from the sun, which is photosynthesis. Then consumers. Consumers are any animal that eat or consume other living things. Different types of consumers are herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Herbivores eat plants, carnivores eat animals, and omnivores eat plants and animals. There's also decomposers, which are microorganisms. These organisms break down dead or decaying organisms and then carry out decomposition. So this helps replenish the soil and just decompose those dead things into the earth. Game time. So let's go to the website below to try to figure out if we can fill out the food web. You can click out of this and copy and paste it to your web browser. What you'll be doing is it's an interactive game where you take a organism and place it in the food web. So it goes from the plants, those producers, then the consumers, and it shows the different levels of smaller to larger animals at the top of the food web. So are food webs affected by ecosystems? Stop this video and go watch this YouTube video on Crash Course. It shows how the food webs are interconnected into those ecosystems because the ecosystem is affected by the different animals that live there and what they need to be able to survive. So misconception, a food chain versus a food web. A food web describes a flow of energy and nutrients through an ecosystem, and a food chain is a linear path of the food. So this shows how the producer goes to the consumers and then to the predators, whereas a food web shows how all the animals in the ecosystem survive together. This is a progression how one food chain is a progression how one animal gets their food, the main predator gets their food. This shows how the food web shows how the whole ecosystem can get their food from one another. Pollution. Pollution is a contamination in our environment. There's air pollution, water pollution, and soil pollution. Air pollution can be caused by the burning of fossil fuels, chemicals, and deforestation. In the top picture shows air pollution from smokestacks. This is burning of chemicals that's released into the air. We see this now. It can create smog. We don't always see air pollution. This is why it's not always talked about. But anytime a car is running, there's air pollution because of what's coming out of the exhaust pipe. There's water pollution. This can include sewage and plastic, and then even trash in the water. We see that St. Pete now has a straw ban because we don't want any more plastic straws going into the ocean. On the picture, the middle picture shows water pollution into a river. Pollution in the water can affect the amount of oxygen in the water that fish need to breathe. This can affect the whole food chain because smaller fish are taking in that water pollution, which affects the bigger fish, which affects the next big fish, which then can affect us because we are eating those fish. Then there's soil pollution. Soil pollution can be caused by deforestation, excessive fertilizer, pesticides, and garbage. So the picture bottom shows an excess amount of garbage on the land, which majorly affects the soil, and it makes it not be able to grow our fresh fruits and vegetables that we need to be able to survive.